What's up, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome back to my channel. I know that I'm a little bit late getting this out there and making this video, but today we're going to be discussing my 2020 reading goals, so stay tuned. So before I actually get into my goals, let me talk a little bit about what my history is with reading and how I've been with books. I've not always been a big reader. When I was younger, I read a little bit here and there, but I was more into games and movies and TV and stuff like that. It wasn't until my wife really got me into reading because she is such a massive lover of books. The first book series I read was about 4 years ago, and it was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and I burned through all 5 of these books in about 2 weeks, and I absolutely loved them. Then I started college and I got a new job, and so reading kind of went away. It wasn't really something that I thought about that often. It wasn't until about a year or so ago when It Chapter 2 was coming out that I decided, you know what, I want to read the book. I loved the first movie so much. I liked horror movies, and so I wanted to try and see how I felt about reading a book that size, and I absolutely loved the book. So last year, starting around May, is when I really set a goal, and I think I read about 20 something books before the end of the year. So I am a little bit newer when it comes to setting goals, and I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on myself this year to get through all of the books that I want to read, but I do want to set a challenge for myself because over the last year I have fallen in love with books, and that's one of the reasons that I'm making this channel, so I can meet other people who love books and they can give me recommendations and the things that they love and all the different genres that they read. But that's really the purpose of this channel, is for you guys to help me and teach me more about books. So the first goal that I have for 2020 is I want to read 50 books throughout the entire year. That's what I've set as my Goodreads goal, and I know some people may not like it, but I am going to include audiobooks that I listen to, comic books that I read. So I probably will go over 50 because I really enjoy reading comic books as well. Like I said, this is a very high goal for somebody who only read like 20 books last year, but my love for books has continued to grow, and as I've seen more YouTube channels and all the different genres that you can read, I've gotten more and more excited about how many books I actually could get through throughout the year. The second goal that I have for the year is something that I've been planning and wanting to do since I read It. Since reading It, I've read The Shining, I've read Dr. Sleep, and I've read Salem's Lot. So for 2020, I want to read 12 Stephen King books throughout the whole year. I'm going to read one Stephen King book a month, and that is a goal that I'm going to stick to as hard as I can. So far, through my very short reading career, you could say, Stephen King is my favorite author so far. His books have been my favorite. Yes, the endings are not always perfect, but his characters and the way that he tells stories are just amazing. And really, his books are what have made me fall in love with reading. So the third goal that I have for this year is to read the Heroes of Olympus series. This is the second series that Rick Riordan wrote. I believe that's how you say his last name. This is his second series. My wife loves these books. She continues to tell me that I need to read them. I'm about 20% through with the first one right now. So that's the third goal that I'm going to have for the year, is to finish that series throughout the year. So the fourth goal that I had for the year is to venture out into reading some different genres. I will say that the main genre that I want to read this year is fantasy. A lot of the channels that I watch talk about fantasy books, and the way they love those books has me really excited to want to try them. I think I'm going to start with the Witcher series. Me and my wife just finished watching the show and we loved it, and it's got me really excited to want to try the books. Some research that I did and videos I watched, people said that The Witcher is a good place to start when you're wanting to pick up reading fantasy. From there, I'd like to read some Brandon Sanderson books. Again, any videos that I've watched or articles that I've read, anytime you talk about fantasy books, Brandon Sanderson's name is always mentioned. I don't really know the order to read his books, so if you could let me know down in the comments below what's a good place to start with Sanderson books. And then from there, thanks to Daniel Green's YouTube channel, who I watch on a daily basis, I would like to start The Wheel of Time this year. Again, I've not read fantasy books, so that will probably be later in the year. From what I've seen, it's a very big undertaking to read The Wheel of Time, but the way that he talks about it has me extremely excited to want to try it and see, is it something that I would enjoy reading. Along with reading fantasy books, there's just a couple of other genres, more writers that I want to try. I really want to try and read some thriller books, specifically Dan Brown, and that's thanks to my brother. My brother loves Dan Brown. He loves his writings. You know, he wrote Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code. So those are just a few books here and there throughout the year that I wouldn't mind trying out. So thrillers and mysteries and suspense novels, those are more genres that I'd like to try on top of stepping into fantasy. So those are my 2020 reading goals. They're very simple. Again, I'm newer to this world of intense reading. My love for books is young, but I have fallen in love with reading and books over the last year or so. So I'm excited to really have my first year where I set goals for myself and I do research on what I'm reading to find really good books and really good stories and really good series. I'm super excited for 2020. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you could like it, subscribe. I'm going to have my February TBR video coming out also this week, and I hope you are able to watch that. Let me know in the comments below, what books are you going to read this year? Give me recommendations for fantasy books and thriller books and any other recommendations you want to give me to try to read. As a new reader, I'm very open to reading any genre. So again, let me know, what books are you reading this year? I'll see you next time.